Here's a quick review of my Priority Sauce belt drive single speed mountain bike. Now that I've got a few good mountain bike rides on it, I'm walking around on Rocky Rudy stuff, of course riding on it. But yeah, here's my thoughts on the Priority Sauce. Things I like, things I don't like, things I can change, and so on. The bottom bracket height on this seems a little bit low. It's great for handling, but I do clip the pedals on even dirt spots. And there could be two reasons for this. One, I changed the tires. The tires that came on it are 2.4s, but I put the 2.2 Continental Race Kings on there. That's because I wanted to go tubeless, and the tires that came stock weren't set up to go tubeless. So I did that. And price-wise, I went with the Race Kings here because they're not that expensive. I didn't want to spend $80 a tire when I can get two of them for that price going with the Continentals, so that's what I did. So that might have lowered it a little bit, the bottom bracket height. And also the spindle lengths are 170, and that's a good length for me. I do have like a 34, 35 inch inseam, so that would be a good length crank. I can always go shorter, and that should remedy that. I could also just swap the pedals out, because these aren't the stock pedals, but these pedals are really wide and they kind of curve up a little. If I had my standard speed play pedals, you know, then probably wouldn't clip them as much. I'll have to test that. Other things I changed, if you've been watching my videos, I changed to a Brook saddle. Super comfortable, love it. And Brook saddles aren't for everybody, but the people that have them and wear them in, they understand. The handlebar height, I feel, is a little bit too high. It's perfect for city riding, gravel riding. I don't get the mechanical leverage that I get with my other mountain bikes with the handlebar down another inch. I can adjust this with the spacers, but when I do that, if I were to crash, the brake levers hit the curved top tube. So I decided to just ride it high. Advantages of the taller handlebar is really simple. Downhills are great. A little bit more upright, a little bit better control. Climbing uphill, I feel I don't get the leverage that I would get with a lower handlebar, or even a longer stem reach. But as far as sitting comfort, it's fantastic, and the curve of the handlebars are very comfortable. Things I'm really pleased with is these no-name 174 Hudson brakes. It's just the house brand for Priority bikes. They have lots of bite. They feel very similar to a Shimano, you know, mid-tier brake set. And you know, Shimano brakes work amazing. Belt drive, what could I say? Super comfortable, super quiet. It's fantastic. Things I do notice compared to my 29er is the 27.5s, even though it's only an inch different in diameter, I do feel the wheels ride a little harsher. I have 2.2s on both of my other 29er bikes, and I'm still working on figuring out the air pressure for the 27.5s. And so the front fork does feel a little bit stiffer than the carbon forks I have on my other ones. I shouldn't be comparing an aluminum fork to carbon forks in ride quality, because the ones on this bike probably cost $40, and anybody that's bought a carbon rigid fork knows they're 5 times the amount of money, if not more. So, but the bike does handle very well. It because of the tweaks I've done with the saddle, I mean, it rides very comfortably. And yeah, other than that, I have no complaints. Pretty much all the bikes I have all ride a little bit different, and that's a good thing, because it gives me something to learn and things to adapt to, and that to me is all part of the fun. I'll do a little quick review on my MPD Fender. This clamping mechanism really sucks. You got to pull this super tight in order for it to clamp. But there hasn't been a single wet ride that I've ridden where I don't have to adjust it 5 times. And I am sure there's things I can do underneath here to make sure it gets a little more grip, whether it be tape, something stickier, some sort of a rubber shim. Things I haven't tried, because if I only have to adjust it a few times a ride, it's not that big of a deal. But if you want to put a fender on that doesn't move and does stay place, spend a little extra. And the toe peak ones, the toe peak mount, I have on 2 other bikes and I never have issues with it. This was an inexpensive option that can fold up. These unsnap and you can store it way easier than most other fenders. So if you're looking for something lightweight, go ahead and buy this. But if you're looking for something to mount and kind of have it be stable, there's better options out there. What else is gone wrong? Nothing's really gone wrong on my couple of rides. I know that I've had to adjust the rear caliper a couple times. The rear pads on a lot of hydraulic brakes, not just these, they sit really close to the rotor, so that would be a plus for mechanicals because you can adjust that out. But these will take a few more rides for the pad to level out on both sides. When I look at the spacing, you can see that the caliper is not sitting perfectly flush to the rotor, so it just means I need some more wear and tear on the pads to have that happen. But overall, it has been a very fun bike. It does very well on gravel bikes. It does very well pavement. Cross country, I'm still working on the setting. Hopefully that is enough information, and if I find out anything new, I will let you know. Here at Pine Hill Park, at the end of the last clip, I was talking about nitpicks, ride quality, what it's good at, what it's bad at. And, you know, I do have some city street riding on it. I do have some gravel road riding, and now some mountain bike riding. And Priority, they kind of put this bike in the range of a do-all bike. And I feel that that is pretty accurate. The gearing on it is a little bit bigger than what I would usually ride for a single-speed mountain bike, but it's very doable. But as far as gravel road riding, I think that the gearing is pretty good because you can go pretty quick. Gravel roads and pavement, you can run a little bit bigger gear, less rolling resistance, so works well. I do find myself, at least this is the beginning of the year, having to walk up some of the steeper stuff. But it's a single speed. You kind of have to put that into the equation. And on a good note, it's a bigger gear than I'm used to running on my single speed mountain bikes, so the downhills and the flats I can totally rip. And I'm pretty happy with my purchase overall. Here's the suspension bridge at Pine Hill Park. Always love that. But yeah, overall I'm finding this to be a very fun bike. Other changes I've made, if you've been watching any of my videos, is I changed the hub to seal cartridge bearings because I'm me and I just like nicer wheels. The hubs that came stock were fine. They were ball bearings. Out of the box they needed to be adjusted, but they would totally 1000% do the job for anybody. Not knocking anybody for those hubs. But yeah, I'm actually very happy. I think next time out I'll lower the PSI a couple in the front and see how that goes. And it's wet out today. I'm not going to say wet, I'm going to say damp. I haven't really slipped around or anything, but a lot of times you lower the PSI on days like that to get a little more grip. It's not that wet here, so I won't do that. And but yes, I will try my speed play pedals. These pedals here were Amazon $35 special single-sided, but I can say one good thing about these pedals is they always, when you unclip, they always go this way. So clipping in, I thought would be an issue, but I'm clipping in really fast. I have used those pedals on one of my fixed gear bikes, so I do have them locked down a little tight, so getting out of them I can do, but I could tell I need to loosen up I need to loosen up that spring tension right there. And that I will do before I take it out next time. But for now, it's fine. And but yeah, if people are looking for an in general city bike, so they don't have to lube the chain, something quiet, smooth, and kind of a do-all bike, I would totally recommend the Priority Sauce. It's definitely a cool multi-terrain bike. I think that Priority has this right. It's supposed to look like a retro-inspired mountain bike, but it feels playful like a big old GT BMX bike. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.